boy high. I'm the motherfucker that they tryna boycott. Heard you was speaking on me, boy, stop. Crank this song, she was like, oh yeah. French got big whips sitting in the garage. Smells like money in the damn foyer. Got 2 pools and he got 4 yards. Big trees, sick koyas. Fucking around with us, I'm sick for you. Range Rover was an Explorer. Remember them girls used to ignore her. Now she wanna be my senor. Is that your girl? Sorta. I got one in Georgia, in Florida. All she wanna do is hit Sephora. French went and got another hit chorus.
Hot boy bling bling bling. Hot boy bling bling bling. Hot boy bling bling bling. Hot boy bling bling. Hot boy bling bling. Hot boy bling bling.
Ball, they fresh out of cough, don't know why they talking. Got power like Austin, they cat with gun. These rappers is Austin now, she gon' cost it wet like a faucet. I look like a fountain. Drink tested like Austin and LA, we golfing. Can't take no more losses and we steady count. I put them in office and then get a crown. I'm dressed like a dolphin, the fishes in town. Rex. Walking that spilling, I'm spurting again. Missing that crush like it's juicing again. Sticking up, it's loosening again. I went to Houston with Travis on lit. 10 this it ain't nobody did. I done got rich, but I still ain't that lit. Take up her 30 whenever I'm sick. When cost 30, I ain't even 30. I feel hold a 30, Bluetooth in the clip. Why body swirling, one waist, that's for certain. Game is urgent, I'm on the lip. Eat the big dogs and these little shrimps. Vegas, I spent 20K on the drip. Neighborhood blue on the that for nip. SOY saying they game off the road. They fresh out of coffin, don't know why he talking. Got power like Austin, they got with a gun. These rappers is Austin now. She gon' cost them, they wet like a faucet. I look like a fountain. Drink tested like Austin in LA, we golfing. Can't take no more losses and we steady count. I put them in office and then get a crown. I'm drenched like a dolphin, the fishes in town.
Came out the jungle with tigers and apes. Can't believe I should studio covered in beef. So much I should be inborn. Cross an arm and the leg just to see me perform. Speaking the truth cause I ain't good at lying. And I never play golf but I still keep my iron. Call her some vibes, I got nothing but diamonds. She gave me a piece of her mind. Pull up the function, my name on the banner. I still walking through the back door of my hammer. Told these little boys that they don't want no smoke. Had to aim for his legs, get caught on the camera. Got me a baddie when she give me sloppy. He tie up her head with a Gucci bandana. Come between me and my blue to get handled. I know me some dangerous Chris from Atlanta. If I run into a problem with cake, I put pots on the stove and I whip out the battle. Speak on my name, I'ma pull up on you. All your people gon' run when the shots start splatter. Get out my gun and I be making noise and I still find a way how to tune out the chatter. Catching your like catching the ops, I just pull on my dick and I shoot it right out.
They fresh out of coffin, don't know why they talking. Got power like Austin, they got what they got.
Lately I've been in my feelings like I ain't really having hope cause I'm missing my bro. I was at the pose in the Gucci peacoat trying to tell her come vote, damn bro. You weren't the only one that felt alone. I be feeling lonely too, I probably said this song. Looking at my nieces, broke me down to pieces. Crying at the hospital, asking why you leave us. Looking at my nephew, anything is that he breathe. But his daddy took his life and we can't get it back. Damn. But if I let you do that, we'd kill the 100. What a them 100 that. And you the reason that your baby butter cut though. You the reason baby butter love smoke. I was playing with your in the closet. Would've had a bullet in the pocket, would've popped it. Grew up around poverty and violence. Wasn't hard to tell in high school you could've bought it. Cause when you walked in, I saw the way you looked at mommy.
I saw everything. I'm your baby brother. Yeah, when you walked in, seen that look in your eyes. You told me that you got them demons. Told me back then that you won't scared to die. You told me you already seen it.
I was 10 years old, 2001 when I was 10. You and Ree was trying to make me be a good boy. I was trying to be my big bro, trying to be my big bro. I was born in the had the hood, so ain't nobody touched me cause no. Couldn't talk shit that stupid, but I was busy talking in the vote. Man, the president, long live G. Lately I've been in my feelings like I ain't been really having hope cause I've been missing my bro. I was at the pose in the Gucci peacoat trying to tell like come vote, damn bro. You weren't the only one that felt alone. I be feeling lonely, talking probably say it is on. Looking at my nieces, broke me down to pieces. Crying at the hospital, asking why you leave us.
Yeah, bro, I was talking this back, man. You know, I ain't never see you in a position that you wear today as a grown man, as an individual, as you feel who you are.
I got these FN on.
Hey, hello.
Welcome to 4 Vegas. Welcome to 4 Vegas. You know I'm still taking risks. She trip, then I replace. I get them spit, then I replace the sticks. I get them spit, I'm up in the smoke. Up with the slick, he tucking the roll. She reached for my almost lit off the pole. No, I stay on my thought like I stay on my bro. No, I stay on my like I stay on my broken a car, ain't snatched. I think it was karma, I used to hit licks. Don't cheat to the tooth, I came from them bricks. Today I lost racks, know I had to get rich. Quick left with him, then I ran it up quick. Now my money blue like a crib. I want this out cause I'm trying to get him zip. Yeah, I'm trying to get him burnt. Merch, take a pic, put him on the shirt. Grab a blick, we finna go lurk. They gon' hate when you come from the dirt. Spit crack, I got rich off for words. I sit back, kill a spit on your curb. 10 racks, they gon' put in some work. They won't come back until somebody learns. On somebody mama crying. These choppers sing like lullabies. Them go rap when it's time to slide. He know we on this hat, so we gotta hide. We rock to sleep like rockabye. I was doing the shows, my alibi. Run up on me, I'ma let it fly. Before I go like a it's a homicide. Welcome to Convo Vegas. You know I'm still taking risks. Then I replace. I get them spit, then I replace the sticks. I get them spit. I'm up in the smoke. Up with this blick, he tuck it and roll. She reach with my. I'ma blow up the pole. I stay on my thigh, I got stay on my.
Smelling like Dolce & Gabbana. Damn, I can barely hit you, baby mama. Scared, blowing on the pounder. Presidential coup, I'm talking Obama. Keep a lot of guns, I'm young Osama. And she give me brain good honors. Fast and the Furious, by no cover. Scared. Oh, I don't give a dick, that's a man. Shot it, what's up? Every day we blow lead. Go ahead, burn up. Game time shoot, I swap your cheek. The buzzer. After the show, hit the hotel, no disturbance. We in the top floor, hotel suite, shot it, look up. We can have soup, let's get drunk, do some. Shot it, what's up? Shot it, what's up? Shot it, what's up? Shot it, what's up?
Skirt. Blowing on a pound of that fruit. I'm a young dog, no Scooby. I'm finna make a Cinemax movie. Girl, give me no cooties. I'm trying to have relations with your booty. I am. Do you wanna be Miss Foolie? I don't spit lies, everything truly. Girl, do it feel wet, feel gooey. Can I shoot it like a? I like you up like a bad juvie. Beat the you gon' sue me. Damn. When you want this cue me. Tell me. This above, I ain't no loobies. Wait. In the bedroom, it gets spooky. I go a lot of miles like booby. Oh, this right here too loud. People take caution. He don't want beef, he don't want flicks. We'll be boxing. Square up. I got heat, I got goons, we got options. What's up? Move the body to the hotel. Nah, we ain't stopping. No.
Oh, I don't give a dick, that's a man. Shot it, what's up? Every day we blow lead. Go ahead, burn up. Game time shoot, I can swap your cheek. Bop the buzzer. After the show, hit the hotel, no disturbance.
Wake up in my bed, I just wanna have a good day. Think it in my head, then it happens how it should. Ay, 12 o'clock, I gotta see a meeting, then a meditation at 1:30. Then I ride to the studio, listening to some flowers. The car, my mind is steady. Keep my conscience clear, that's why I'm so magnetic. Manifested, I finesse it. Take my pen and write some love letters to heaven. Just like magic, just like magic. Middle finger to my thumb and then I snap it. Just like magic, I'm attracted. I get everything I want cause I attract it. Looking at my phone but I'm trying to disconnect it. Read a book, I be trying to stay connected. It's tricky at the top, gotta keep it then me go for a thick wallet. Losing friends left and right, but I just ain't another life. The car, my mind is steady. Keep my conscience clear, that's why I'm so magnetic. Manifested, I finessed it. Take my pen and write some love letters to heaven. Real diamonds on me. Only real diamonds on me. I pull up, they see the AP. I got the time in the street. Get cold, stick to my vision, set it all on the road. Get it and go, yeah, that's all that I know. Gotta go in, part of my flow.
Whipping the bit, show for the rolls. Ice potato, see the stones. Mix the baguette, get them rolls. I got a check, crush on the head. Told him fetch, hit like a red. Making it stretch, already flex. I want the sex, draws the sketch. Before I dig in it, she already wet. play, we leaving right where we at. They feel like talking, then I barely can chat. She don't call me, she gon' send me a text. And then I get wet. She from LA and up, be a snatch. I cut down and put them off on the latch.
Real diamonds on me. Only real diamonds on me. I pull up, they see the AP. I got the time of the streets, yeah. Get it cold, stick to my vision, set out on the road. Get it and go, yeah, that's all that I know. About to go in, out of my phone.
Music Mo Radio.
God, no fakes, Bridger Mo. See, I'm stuck on my ways, strapping in with the truth of my syndicate. Swear to God, get the fuck out my face. After we kill them, we clean them up till they finish. No eulogy, this is they been missing. I raise them high, been doing it. Wanted the life my whole life. Could've gone back and be trife. Lot of good got caught in the fight. Noticing sin on my sight. Winners the winners now up in the night. Catch on the pulling up. I'ma be hopping out with some stick, my she murder 'em.
In the city, this is rock and roll. My group is big, this is the people's only hope. We riding around the city, this is rock and roll. You see in this fine woman, don't wear messy. Don't embellish us, else we in. The strongest of men catch us on the throne. Yeah. Heaven on earth, I am curious. Yeah, I'm living, I'm raw till I'm gone. Nice. Don't embellish us, else we in. The strongest of men catch us on the throne. Yes. Heaven on earth, I am curious. Yeah, I'm living, I'm raw till I'm gone.
I be pulling out scraps when go young and may only done like a dyke man can't with me. Say it's up, then it's up with me. What's the principle? Pimpin' ain't easy. I'm invincible, can't beat me. Hey, what's the principle? Pimpin' ain't easy. I'm invincible, can't beat me. I was in an A5, me a pot here. I've been out 6 months, made 4 million. Sliding in a 6'4", window 10. Had to get low, them boys start hitting. Come around, hit the low hole with no Jimmy. If it they go, better go kill him. Say that Lizzo, he cut up with no feelings. I'ma watch a little boy turn to a minute. I don't care, I go fair, get a life sentence. I'm on everybody dead, no limit. I don't shit to him cause I ain't friendly. When I pull up to the crib, I have no pennies. I be leaning to the right like I'm on Zenith. I been thinking all my life, I ain't romantic. When I whip out the 4-5, don't pin it. When I whip out the 4-5, don't pin it. I be pulling out scraps when he I go young and may only dump. Like a dyke man, you can't with me. If it say it's up, then it's stuck with me. What's the principle? Pimpin' ain't easy. I'm invincible, can't beat me. Hey, what's the principle? Pimpin' ain't easy. I'm invincible, can't beat me. New AP, flood. Water on my butt like a tub. Got my little gun in the club. Don't worry about me, I'm a thug. You kill a street, get a dime. If you kill a rap, get a dub. Get chain on my neck, don't budge. Can days off like a stud. I swapped out the mic for the gun, swapped out the light for the mud, swapped out the spice for the bud. On the dyke, I'm a love. I'm with the dice, she the one. Cut it on show, no remorse. I be automatic trying to get it touch. Kodak on throw with his boys. Said they got a whole gun store on the buzz.
The game in trouble. Started out small, they paying me double. Yeah, you can drip shit, baby, like mustard. Yeah,
You better not trust them. Rotate them all these on shuffle. Money thing got a whole M in a duffel.
Got a nurse say she don't like rubber. She don't know that I know she my brother. I ain't going out like no sucker. Yeah, West Coast smoking on gushing. Yeah, Cartier white bustin'. Yeah,
I done ran up a whole lot. Yeah, I don't want to just top. Yeah, going up a whole nother notch. Yeah, can't be stuck in one spot. Yeah,
level, clothes run truck and ghetto. Hills on the wheel, wave hello. Yeah, probably mad ain't ditto. La la la, I'm not Carmelo. Word to the out, they gon' drop bit of Lalo. Haha, nah I'm just playing, they can come out. Running up money, I ain't never tryna run out. Yeah, police get behind me, I'ma burn out. Man, how you get it before it even come out? Cash, how you make $1 million a drop? Bad, track how geeked up fast. My mama don't like it, she ain't got no swag. I'm stay with my mama, I been in my bag. Yeah, I got it, what I had. Yeah, y'all niggas need to get my swag back. Go against me, get hashtag. I ain't stunning, don't pass that. I use jacket D, or ain't pants, man. Roll running, bring these bands back. You can take it how you want it, I'm saying. Fat, they done crump me up, I was laying back on the way. Give me my sand back. Hopped out on with a chopstick. They done keep that boy with a hand strap. You straight ain't giving your man's down. The game in trouble. Start out small, now they paying me double. Yeah, you can drip that baby like mustard. Yeah.
You better not trust them. Rotate them all these on shuffle. Money thing got a whole M in a duffel.
do the cry, baby. She ain't gave me none of that in a while. She had the boy waiting, I don't mind waiting. Come here. Oh, you ain't gon' respond to my text? Oh, yeah. Want me keep on my diamonds with sex? What's your name? Keisha, Key, Jazz, Kiera, Megan, go, Lisa, Ashley, Sierra, Sarah. She got her hands on her knees with that in the air. Who that little player? If her friends ain't around to record it, she been over, shake that little in the mirror. Like, damn, what a gotta do for your number? Shorty came through with that so good, I said, I ain't using no rubber. Way she made that bounce, think I love her. Got that in that mouth from my mother. Type to make your baby mad, you in trouble. NBA playoffs, this a bubble. Like, come on, throw that back.
That ain't the baby, that's my baby.
Her friends and her mom had go. Lay down on the bed, do the cry, baby, go. She ain't gave me none of that in a while. She had the boy wait, I don't mind waiting. Oh, you ain't gon' respond to my text? Oh, yeah? Want me keep on my diamonds with sex? What's your name?
Real hot girl, ay. Lay on my stomach, toot it up, do the cry, baby. Look back, hold it up, and now he annihilated. Moaning like a when he hit this. Damn, he probably wanna wear my hoodie. Check me, spank me, look at me, thank me. If I give it to him, he'll hate me. Spit, slurp, give him that work. Feel too fast for me, nothing hurt. Deeper, I need a reaper. Thought I was in trouble, how he tearing them cheeks up. Keep me a freak, who the flavor of the week. If I make up the rules, then I don't think it's cheating. Jordan, Tommy, Timothy, Gang, which might let Jonathan bring in Sarah. Tryna brag about taking my man. Ha, I needed me a dog man. Don't like that, like this, yeah. Like, his friends and his dad hate me. I broke his little heart, he'll cry, baby. If I ain't let him hit the bump by now, then blame if he still waiting. I ain't even say your number, so no, I can't reply to no text.
Check this out.
You're tuned in.
What?
To the full 180.
I'm living, I get it, I spend it, y'all. Yeah, we flip it, I stay on my pill. You won't come and sip it like this. In front of me, they don't want war with me. 2 to 3 hit up everything in front of me. Gotta be the day, try gunning me. Still paid, we the that blow the green. I'm with that Draco. Walking in places you can't go. I only on them bad. Hit it, then pass it to Mundo. I need the cash pronto. I don't throw in a session like Romo. Ride with that 9 like a Rondo. Jugging them on an Alonzo. Try to take a chain, I'm hit. Airplay. Yeah, I'm hin. Little baby, throw that, I'm hin. All the jewelry on me, know that it hit. 12 get behind me, I hit it. And with me, ready to hit. Mama on the base, it hit, you know that. Hit, I'm hit, play, hit, I'm hit, play, hit, chain,
Paid in full, getting money like Mitch. Back to the Glock, only time I switch. Rap don't work, I knows when I'm lit. Back to the block, hit a lick on bricks. Most of my old friends grew apart. Know a lot of scammers that cracking cars. Couple SS and superstars. Shopping at Sinead, free of charge. Skirt in the drop. Lost my mind and I lost my top. But y'all don't need no silence, no kizzy. I got a Balenci socks. If we don't find who we tryna find, we still gon' spill no block. 5 shooters in one night, how the f*** they call my city soft? Shout my money like stand on stills. Look good, gotta get it on film. Stepping out of foreign with the big rims. Are you not good, you know I'm him. Waking up the hate ain't nothing new. They don't really got nothing else to do. Counting no blues, got nothing to prove. Pouring a Sprite with a 2x2. Everything better when you do it yourself. When I spend money, I ain't got no guilt. I'ma sit down on the throne, I'll build. Fighting for a line, but the battle uphill. Mountain people, I got me a list. When I pull up, make sure they sick. 40 out the lip, get a curve, a kiss. Go full thought, make it turn and biz. Stay 10 toes, taking care of the guys. Lost my faith, had to cut my ties. Laced out buffs, cover up my eyes. Like a little kid, bring toys outside. LV ring, only one of my size. Money I sight, never out of mind. Told you I'ma help you one last time. Pockets ain't getting nothing out of mine. Holes on my teeth, out of whips and clothes. I went from rags to rich. I used to spray on a sample cologne, hoping I beg it. People in front of me driving my car, I had no gas in it. Now every time that I be on the road, be chasing after it. Stand my money like I'm standing on stilts. Look good, gotta get it on film. Stepping out of foreign with the big rims. Are you not green?
She said all the gym closed, so she been feeling lazy. She been late night snagging, but shawty's still my baby. Several watches later, I still rock and rollin'. I'm praying for the dead, I'm praying for my homie. I sleep by a scale and everybody know it. I hate it when a pretty girl starts snoring. Looking in the mirror like you a lucky man. How you gon' forget you spent 100 grand? Life must be good, it must be great. I'm from where it cost you 80 bucks. Mask on in the club, I make him break it up. He came outside, he thought mosquitoes ate him up. This if I ate town, make him take a bow. Come with you used to date a clown. Yeah, I want my cake and wanna eat it too. Spend it too. I get what you get just for an interlude. I might cop a yacht just to post a pic. Sleeper spin your block till he get motion sick. Cocaine with my co-defendant. I hate that. Then once I hit that kid, she been quarantined on the shawty thing. She been quarantined on the shawty thing. She been quarantined on the shawty hips wide up. Got my right hand on the Draco like a wild. Shake, 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 shake it fast. No matter what you do, don't let them judge your past. Broke my wrist off in the bowl, I need a cash. It ain't no stash if you ain't got nothing in the stick.
I got them hunters on. 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 So many rest in my hand, I'ma count this shit up. I turn nothing to something. Walk in the club, chop, VIP throwing the ones. I got them hunters on. 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 Got me some rat, you got the rat. All of this we can blow. I got that paperwork on me right now. Remember them days I was broke. Hunter on. I just walked in that with the paperwork. Come and spit out the slum, but I made it work. Now I walk in the store buying double C. Cut it out on my bitch in Louis V. 100 rest home and go get the money counter. VIP throwing money on all the dancers. Whole $250,000 in the back up fountain. Hunters on them. I just put a bitch on Madonna. Spent all these rest of a bonner. Look at my nigga supporter. Water on water on water. I'ma spend all this shit on your door. I'ma wake the up like coffee. I just put 150 in the vault. Swear I never talk to your owner. Free every real nigga who the helping Honor. Watch how I take the doors off the Hummer. Baby tryna kick shit like a palmer. Watch how I fucking boy, y'all bad my dog. So many on. I got them commas on commas. I got them hunters on. 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 So many rest in my hand, I'ma count this shit up. I turn nothing to something. Walk in the club, VIP throwing the ones. I got them hunters on. I got them hunters on.
into the full 180 each every Monday and Wednesday from 9 until 10 p.m. as we discuss the hard topics that we face as individuals and in relationships from a transparent and practical perspective. Join the conversation with the irrational speaker, L Boogie, Dr. B, Casey Estelle, and you can't forget DJ Tricky and DJ Legends. Each and every Monday and Wednesday from 9 until 10 p.m. on all social media platforms. And right here on Mo Music, Mo Radio.
Check, 1 2 1 2, man. Welcome once again to the full 180. I am yours truly, DJ TRKKY. They call me the bomb. You got to listen to the sounds, none other than my big brother, aka Mr. DJ Legend. Appreciate that, folk. Man, hope you had a good day. It's hump day. It's halfway in. We almost to the weekend. I know you ready. We ready. But now, right now, we ready for this show, man. We got something very, very special for you today. I have been waiting on this. Shout out to my man, Mr. Malik, a.k.a. CEO, a.k.a. the Mike Music Show right here, Monday through Friday. Catch him live on Friday and Monday with none other than K-Flow. But in the studio today, I have the privilege of having a simple conversation with four of our great educators in the DF Dub. I'm so excited about this. However, we're gonna get in their minds and find out what is the issue with these teachers. Why and when and what is going on? Do you feel unappreciated? So, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the here they go of our educators of the DF Dub. Look, I am just going to point at you and you can introduce yourself. I don't want to mess up anybody's name at all. So to my left, you are
Candy J. How you doing?
Right.
What up?
I like her. Ooh, that energy is already. Next to her is none other than
Ivory.
You might want to grab your mic and say that again.
Oh, it's Ivory.
Yep, she's a spiritual teacher. Watch out what y'all say. Next to her is none other than Dr. B, a.k.a. I call her our know-it-all. Hello, young lady.
Hello.
And next to her is my man, 100 grand. You may know him from the championship rings he wore around his finger. None other than my brother,
Coach Miller.
Coach Miller's in the building. Look, man, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? School is out.
Well,
Christmas break is in.
Yeah, it's around the corner.
It's around the corner? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some of y'all already checked out.
I'm at the home.
I was out in September.
Oh, he said when the pandemic came.
I've been out since March.
Oh, okay.
Hey now, hello.
We're going to take a church offering. We're going to put the cash up. Just send your funds. Well, good, man. Look, I have been excited to have this show. Me and Dr. B have been talking about it for a while because it's things I think parents and teachers should know that are going on within this pandemic that we have to work side by side. And there's some frustrations y'all go through. I'm pretty sure it's frustration parents go through. So my thing is, why not bring it to the forefront? Let's have a conversation. But we're going to get it from a teacher point of view. And if you are out there watching, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube page. You can go to Twitch, DJ Tricky on Twitch. You can go to DJ Tricky Bomb Radio on Instagram. The Facebook, the Full 180, the Full 180 on YouTube. Subscribe to the page. We want you to become part of the family and join in the conversation. If you have any thoughts, so I will be monitoring the chat so I can make sure we get the questions out, man. So I'm gonna step back and let Dr. B handle it.
Oh no, you sure you want to do that?
Man, you know, you large in charge.
I don't know about all that. But I just wanted to say thank y'all for coming, and I want to start off by saying y'all check on your teacher friends, because we are not okay. No, it's not that bad. But
I'm good.
You good? I just want to start off by asking, you know, kind of like, what really made y'all go into education? And I'll let y'all answer before I answer.
First. Me first?
You can go first.
Don't matter.
All right, everybody staring at me. All right. What made me start? So my background is IT, and I was a project manager for years. And I spent a lot of time and effort making other executives rich. And so it was fun. I enjoyed it. I can go back and do it if I need to. But
I just decided to put energy towards something that I think would have more value. So I like coaching football. I was doing that anyway, and so I just figured why not do both and get back to the community, be with the kids, put those efforts in something that really count, other than some executives that's gonna fire me as soon as their profit's over. So that's how I got into education.
For me, I got to education. I think I've always wanted to be a teacher. I remember when I was a kid, we stayed in apartments. We used to pass our paper on the stairs and stuff like that. Put on my dolls and stuff, and fuss at them and all that. But what really made me just go into it was my children. I wanted to make sure that I was available for them on breaks when they were on breaks. I was able to, be a parent and contribute to other kids' lives and stuff like that. So it just went hand in hand. 9 years later, I'm still here, hanging on by one of these little braids. But
Right.
What about you?
Well, I would say for me, it was the passion that I got to teach students how to read and write. When you think back to our ancestors and all that they had to do, I wanted to be a part of that. So it inspires me to be a role model and to do all that I can do for others, especially kids.
For me, it was definitely me being in private school and coming home and teaching all my dolls what exactly I had learned for the day. So,
what you learned in school today?
Right. And I'm sure she said dolls. They couldn't talk that.
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay.
Mine did.
Oh.
Mine did. We had tea parties.
You're right. You're right.
And I patted them when they acted up.
Right, exactly. So, but I always knew that kids were my passion. I always knew that I had a sweet spot. I was always teaching somebody. So, it's just.
What made you stay in there though? Because for me, I was only supposed to be for 3 years and I was done, but I just kept coming back. So what made you stay?
The kids. I love middle school. That's my sweet spot. And so those 7th and 8th grade, I became the counselor to them. And it's nothing like the kids calling you mom and actually coming for your advice, and then the parent actually be like, go talk to Miss Jackson. Because they knew I cared and they were going to tell me what they were going to tell them. So, it's the passion for kids.
Yeah, and I think I fell in love with it after a few years. I started off in special education, and it was just something about hitting those little milestones that made me want to keep coming back, to celebrate those, to know that I'm a part of these kids' history. I mean, people don't realize that we have nothing in this world without educators. Somebody has to learn, somebody has to teach, and sometimes parents, parents are supposed to be the best first teacher, but they need help too. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what kept me in so long. What about you?
Well, we knew it wasn't for the paycheck.
Oh,
man, the holidays.
We can't even get it.
People in the back.
That's the whole hour conversation right there.
Yeah, that's a whole segment.
Jesus on the main line.
We enjoy every week of a vacation.
Man, I could.
Go ahead.
It's really hard to think about all the stuff that we have to do and not get paid for it. I remember when I first started, I was 6, 7 o'clock at night still at work. Hey, I was blessed to have my kids there with me.
Walking down the hallway to my class.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it was just
watching each other's kids.
Man, it was crazy. But then after a while, it was like, look, 3:30, that's when my check time stops.
I think, but that's probably the biggest lesson teachers teach without teaching is a selflessness. Because if you got a teacher that care about you and all that stuff, you eventually learn how selfless they are because of, eventually you'll see it. Because I think everybody in here came in a class one day and one of those kids knew you was in one of those moods when you in sleep, and they'll come give you a hug or something at the right time or say something to you at the right time. And I think that's what they learn, from you.
Man, I'll do you one better. I was in the middle of a divorce, and I was sick as a dog, and I had no more time left for the year. I came into my AP class. I sat underneath my desk, sick as a dog, and my whole class covered for me. Every time somebody was coming through the door, they're like, Miss Jackson, and I sit up. Oh yeah, and you guys are still doing. I mean, the best thing. I can tell the story now because I don't work for Dish no more. But
I'm about to say, we're gonna have a whole conversation.
Hey, don't say sick.
For real.
Yes, word. Say sick nowadays.
Nah, this was a couple of years ago now, but I mean, the best feeling in the world because they knew that not only I had their back because I cared about them when they were having a bad day or they were sick and I brought some soup in or whatever the case may be for them, they did the same thing.
I remember growing up, we had teaching Miss Burks at Ronald McNair. Yeah, I think it was Ronald McNair. And Miss Burks was the first woman outside my mama that I would fight for. And it was like real talk, like you said something about Miss Burke, gonna catch these heads. And I was only like 7 years old, but I was head throwing at 7. And that was,
It was aggressive.
Yeah. Oh,
aggressive kid.
That's Dr. B. If anybody would have told you that I'd been in school when I was in school, boy, they'd laugh you out. Not school.
We got bodies like that.
Yeah, and I think that's also why I stay so long is because I want to be that person for kids. I have a teacher like that. Everybody has that one person that they will never forget.
Right.
And if it's funny that I talk to people now I see somebody in passing and they don't really know, they knew me from back in the day, but they haven't been around in my life currently, and they ask me what do I do. They're just like taken aback, like, I know you lying. You are not a teacher. I gave my teachers, boy. I still give them, I'm really like a little bit aggressive when I talk, especially when it comes to education and stuff. Even like when we're in our PLCs and stuff like that, they know that if I raise my hand or if I say something, it's about to come sideways because that's just how passionate I am. It's just like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for these kids. Yeah. And if you don't want me to be here for these kids the way that they need me to be, then you can let me go.
Right.
Because that's what's most important for me.
So let me ask you this. So let's talk about within this pandemic, in the COVID-19 stages, what has been like a couple of probably several, but what are the disadvantages that y'all are facing with every day? That like ordinary people like me, like I don't have any kids, but if I had kids, the parent that I would be wouldn't understand what y'all go through.
First of all, they gotta understand that, again, you are the first line of defense when it comes to your child's education. You are the one that has to encourage them and to let them know how important it is to do what you need to do in school and to learn everything that you need to learn. And with this pandemic, it just kind of put a lot of that in perspective, in my opinion, for parents to realize, what we actually go through. And you're going through it with 1 or 2 or 3 or even some people got 7 kids at home. But think about, we have 30-something kids.
That's when I had my youngest son, Pup. He was giving me the blues one day, and so I had to call both of my parents, apologize to them for everything I put them through. And so now I do the same thing for his teachers when he was at home during that first pandemic when everybody was at home. I called his teacher, and I teach. But I was like, man, how you teach a 4th grade boy? Bless you, Lord, to be a 4th grade teacher. And so even though, I think it's humbling for the parents to see now how tough it is to teach the kids. And then back to your question, I think the hardest thing through the pandemic, being in school, because I'm in person right now still, it's just that personal connection. You wear a mask, you see the kids' eyes, but you don't see their face, you don't know their moods, because a lot of teaching is about understanding your kids and their emotions and all that stuff. So when you can't see their face, you really don't know how to judge it sometimes. You know, you can't do the high fives like you want to do. You know, can't do the hugs. You know, it's just. I mean, it's still personable, but it's not like it was before the pandemic.
And it's funny you mentioned the mask thing. Is because when I'd have mentoring moments with Miller on Mondays. Y'all, it's corny, I know, but I'll have a couple of kids that come in and eat lunch with me, and it's funny because when they take their mask off, I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. I never see your face like this whole time. And, you know, they like that kind of stuff. They enjoy that. They fight over who gets to come to the mentor moments. So, you know, I think that's important.
I would agree. That personal relationship and bond that you have with the students, it is real.
Ma'am?
So I've been out of the classroom since March.
Oh. Okay.
I was so serious when I said that.
Home.
But here's the other side of things. I get called every day from all of my friends that are parents about this homework, about not being able to connect through Zoom or whatever they're utilizing for all this. One of my friends calls me crying. The teacher don't do anything. Well, have you asked the teacher how she is? Is she okay?
I mean, sometimes it's just that.
Because there's so much going on, you know?
So do you think there's enough communication that's going on from the parent and the teacher?
No. Until the grades come out.
Now than it was before?
It's worse.
It's worse.
It's definitely worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, man, we're going to take a small pause because we're going to get back to my teachers. Look, you educators, we got questions. We're trying to figure out what it is. I want to know why you unpaid. I want to know why the Sonic 8 can't seem to get this grade that I need him to get so we can get him on to this college. You know what I'm saying? But a question on the other side is what I want to do, what I really do, what I would like to know, excuse me. Do teachers really just give grades to pass students on their way out? No answer! We'll be right back after this break. Let's go see Myrtle.
On Miami, this nigga 4 times got rich in 6 months. You heard?
No cap. That $1 billion baby shit.
Really got rich in 6 months. For real, I watched this shit with my own eyes. Really 3, but them niggas spend too much.
This get so much money.
Oh my God, I need a taste of the rich youngin'.
Okay, I'm gonna give her a taste. He got rich in 6 months, how he do that? I keep my foot on their neck, but y'all do that. We ain't gone, shit get blue back. Yeah, get whooped. Said smoke, we can do that. Ooh, I break a neck, she like, who that? Yeah, these diamonds on me, get your boo wet. She ate like she knew me. She's hot as young, she already knew that. We'll put up like a slow bag. She mixed the perk with the Moet. So many rats like I grow. Hit the stage on my dancing this like I'm Kodak. Make him freeze like he took a Kodak. My little nigga move on to my whisk. That think I'm hot, sis, I'm a bitch. She told me honey, the shit. I won't go back for no rap. I got business to tend to. 20 racks to camp, I'll flip you. Fill them up, well, it like a piss. No diss, I'm trying to send a miss. I need ends, I'm on a mission. My shot with my shooter, but I gotta stick to up. Then I'm up in this up till it click too. He got rich in 6 months, how I do that? I keep a foot on their neck, but y'all knew that. We ain't gone, get blue back. Yeah, get whooped. Said smoke, we can do that. I break a neck, she like, who that? These diamonds on me, get your boo wet. She ate the D like she knew me. She's hot as young and she already knew that.
I said we gon' call that boy Rich Young. He got rich in 6 months, I could bow. Let's go. Okay, you done got slick at the mouth. Yeah. Talking shit out. Like, I made my young do that, go pull up and post up a pic at your house. Jeez. Make him tab B in the cap. Let's go. Hit his that sticky come out. Okay. I done went a whole lot of money with Johnny. I got a whole brick in my mouth. Yes, sir. Get the money. Send a deposit if you want my to come out. No cap. They won't me big for my DJ. On my shirt at it's on eBay. Windows down, the heat on the freeway. I pull up Rich Young and they holler that. Got rich in 6 months, how I do that? I keep my foot on their neck, but y'all knew that. We ain't gone, get blue back. Yeah, get whooped. Said smoke, we can do that. I break a neck, she like, who that? These diamonds on me, get your boo wet. She ate the D like she knew me. She's hot as young, she already knew that.
Baby in 4 time. I ran that little shit up in no time. I'm putting in you, we lock eyes. I'm so hot, start a fire when I walk in. Hit a friend, I ain't DJ Legend on the ones and twos, man. I am DJ TRKKY, the Bomb Radio. I'm in here with the family, discussing it with the teachers, man. We can find out your educators, the ones that's doing all the work that you couldn't do, the one that you learning that they not really your babysitters. Yeah, you gotta babysit your own kids. That's what they see, especially the ones to my left. I'm just saying. When you listen to more music, more radio, man, this is how we get down the full 180 Convo. This is the Teacher's Edition. We getting inside the mind of the teacher. You know, during the pandemic, the COVID, the virtual learning, we want to know the stresses, the things they go to, the advantages, disadvantages. But right now, my question is, and I have to find out, do y'all really be just passing kids after my child class?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Where's the deal?
Hold that now. Really?
Yep.
Okay, so how do you do
that? Admin's discretion.
So how is it admin discretion? I want you to go ahead and elaborate. I'll wait.
So little Johnny has a 65 in my class, right? But his mama knows the principal. So she slipped into her emails and be like, oh, well, Mrs. Jackson doesn't want to pass. She won't even let him make up all the tests. However, little Johnny doesn't do bell ringers. Little Johnny doesn't write in his journal. Little Johnny doesn't do any of the assignments. Little Johnny doesn't even bother to check anything on the test. Really? But I'm supposed to pass him. Right.
I mean, remember, she's not in the school district, so
Did you teach my brother?
I was saying, she's talking about me.
Oh, he's talking
right here, LJ.
I mean, at least she respectful talking about you in the fight. I'm just saying.
So, what she's saying to me is, give him that extra 5 points that he needs to pass your class.
But is that, like, illegal?
No.
It's not?
It's not. It's not. You curve the grade.
Okay, so let's get into the political side of the room. So y'all answer this question. The political side of the room, politically speaking, how do y'all do that and not have to be, you know, you're not even bothered consciously or more or moral?
It bothers you. Because my thing is especially with this virtual situation, it's like you got on, but you didn't do the bell ring, you didn't do the assignments, you didn't get on the live, you didn't do any of that. But then I even give you a 50 to say, hey parent, hello, your child didn't pass. But then it's almost like, well, did we do everything that we should have done to get that kid to do it? And it's like, yeah, we did. But then it's like, well, you have to consider what's going on, and you have to consider the child, and it's all these things. And it's just like, okay, so what do you want me to do? Especially if they have like accommodations, they have all this paperwork and stuff like that. It's just like we kind of just are strongly encouraged to curve a grade. So, I mean, but it does bother me because it's like I'm not really teaching the child.
Coach Miller?
I'm different on both sides. It depends. Like, truthfully, I'm probably, if anybody know me and know that I coach, they know, like, I don't play curves and because my kids, we talk about grades. This is just from the coaching side.
Yes, sir.
We talk about grades every single day.
Trust me, I play sports, he ain't lying.
We could win a game by 40 points, 50 points, and I'm going to say, great job. Take off this weekend, make sure money you gotta do what you gotta do. And I literally had kids in their classroom snorting the snot and crying, asking the teacher to give them a curve, and I say, "Did you do his work?" And she say, "No." And I say, "All right, see you in 3 weeks." So I get that part, but on the flip side with the online learning, I've seen that too, where these kids, sometimes the school's the most stable place they got. So if they're at home and you gotta, I'm talking high school, you got a 14, 15-year-old kid at home, mama working or clubbing or whatever she do, a daddy, whatever they do, then I can understand why the kid, because when I was 14, I ain't doing work at home. I did work school just because I want to play football and my mama could fight. Outside of that, so I get it.
So going back to that coach thing, right? So teaching middle school, I got basketball students in my class, right? And football students in my class.
Okay.
You ain't done nothing.
Yeah, you can't do that. Don't do that.
You never do my bell ringer. Some of you do bell ringer because I'm gonna check that, but you don't do anything else. But I gotta. Coach said I'm playing this week. Okay. Did you do your work? No, you didn't do your work. And I was that teacher that stepped in her gun. You didn't do my work? Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't do my work? Then no, you're not playing. Coach, please get him to do the work. I'm sorry.
You can stay after school and tell him and make sure he gets his work done if you want him to play.
It happens. The problem I have with it is I learned very early on. The problem I have with it, like when I graduated, there was a couple kids that got all the big scholarships, did all the big things, but they was back for Christmas break. So, although you pushed them through and you got them to college and it made you look good, they still back. So what's the purpose? So when I became a coach, that was one thing that I just stood on was, hey, get your grades, do what you gotta do. Don't expect me to do that because it don't prepare you. But yeah, you're right. It happens. I mean, it happens for coaches. It happens for especially when they used to grade the schools and stuff, So I get it because it's all politics and money. I mean, let's be truthful about it.
So Ms. Al, he brought up something earlier, or she brought up something earlier about the Zoom. Now, I've heard there's been teachers who just said I quit because they didn't want to adapt to the new technology. But I mean, that isn't why. What would be the reason for you just to up and quit?
It's a lot at one time, especially if you're hybrid, on-site and remote. It's a lot, and you have you're not walking around the classroom. It's not personal at all. You're sitting literally all day looking at a screen. So it's even very exhausting on you as well as the students. And so that focus and that attention for you is off. It's for them is off. I can be at my desk, I can be teaching, but I have a distraction. So why would I expect the kids not to have it?
But think about it. You got 30 kids in a room. You already have to manage all of these different behaviors. Think about what you got to deal with on Zoom. You got 25, 30 kids, and they got unmute this, and they playing video games in the background. They hitting their sister on top of their head. Mama telling them to go eat breakfast, but no, Mama, I'm on Zoom. I'm supposed to be at school.
And never mind, Mama walking across the street with no clothes on.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I've seen videos like that for real.
Yeah.
Smoking a blunt.
Yeah. And then on a more serious side, you know, you got to remember the little girl who somebody got shot behind her while she was on Zoom. You know, you just got all this stuff that these kids.
Or they were having sex.
Yeah, you got all these kids going through this stuff at home.
Another thing to look at too is most teachers are, I ain't gonna say way too qualified, but teachers are educated people. You know, like her Bree. I call you Bree on me?
Yeah, you can.
No, that's my little sister. I had to call her Bree. But like Bree, like she's super educated. She could be doing anything else in the world, making millions of bucks. So your teaching is attached to your passion. Your passion is attached to your kids and the personalities and all that stuff. So when you go to a Zoom, it takes away all that you was doing it for in the first place. So unless you're a technical savvy type person, it's not as fun. It's not what you're doing it for. So now you're sitting here underpaid, overeducated, and you can't even teach like you want to teach, you know, and you stuck with this. So it's frustrating, but it was going to go that way anyway.
I was about to say, so
the pandemic kind of forced us to do what we was probably going to have to do at some point in time.
Think about these ancient teachers that don't know anything about technology.
Yeah.
So, Zoom what? I clicked on what, baby? They was the ones that couldn't even get the projection screen to work in their classroom.
Old school projection screen.
The one where you write on the vis-a-vis marker.
That's it.
You had to put the paper, the little plastic, you had to switch the plastic.
And then now you're trying to do a smartboard.
You
market it with the erasables instead of the actual smartboard.
Oh Lord! I had a sub do that one time. I was like, Lord. So now I just take all the markers away.
Right.
You don't even get a marker.
Right.
I do the board.
Exactly.
You just pass out the paper. Nah, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm about to say, I think there's a lack of training, and because people think that teachers are so educated and capable, they just pile on as far as administration and the system. They just continue to pile on so many platforms on us, and there's not enough adequate training.
I would be fine with that if they pat on some more of that cash.
Right.
I wouldn't mind.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying. So, but, you know, the things are the way they are right now. You know, we taking it day by day. I just kind of want to know, like, where do you see your future with everything that's going on with education? Like, I mean, how's that look? Oh, yes. Yeah. Right here.
Oh, y'all talking about real school.
Yeah, real school.
Well, that matters too.
But that is real school.
They not best and they can't get to the championship.
I'll be over there begging all the teachers. No,
I can definitely answer that because I haven't been in class since March. But you know, I'm working on my second master's in marriage and family counseling. So if I'm going back to the school, it's going as counselor. That's what my heart's desire anyway, because they already called me the counselor. So I'd rather be the real counselor instead of these fake counselors. Oh, don't let me get started. Don't get me started. I'm sorry. These fake counselors we got at these middle and high schools that don't really give a darn about the kids, and they come to them with a problem and they shoo them away and put a Father in the name of Jesus.
Wow.
Right. I don't see the future of education going back. A lot of people say we got to get back to the normal, but this is the new normal. This is the way. When I was working on my master's about 4 years ago, my books were online. You know, so it was going in this direction. We needed this to happen to have that greater change. And I can say in March and April, I didn't feel confident as a teacher. I was lost and I didn't feel capable and fulfilling my purpose. And now today, I can't say that. I feel like I am meeting students where they are because I'm doing what I know that I can do and not anyone else.
Here's my question for my people that are still in the classroom. My baby is autistic. What do we do about that?
You make sure that you give him the services that he needs, but at the same time, you are his first responder.
Right.
You are there for him. And when you cannot do that, you find advocates that can meet him where he needs to be. There's so many people that don't help meet their own child where they need to be. They put it off on the teachers, the coaches, administrations, but at what point do we work together?
So I have the patience, I have the knowledge, I have the education, I have the know-how, right? But what about my other parents that don't have the patience? They don't have the know-how.
I think also, and I'm not, generally, most of us here are 30 above, right? Okay, so the newer generation of educators are already hip to it. So these kids that are graduating college now at 20, 21, 22, they are already into the technology. So we're kind of in the middle of it.
Right.
And I think that as the future goes, it's going to be people that are completely ready for online teaching. There's some great teachers now that are kind of shy. They may need that computer buffer in front of them to be an excellent teacher. So I think it's going to get better. It's just right now, you got to go through the growing pains or whatever.
Right. And then just speaking to the specific situation with special education, I just hope that they don't continue. Me personally feel like some of the kids are being left by the wayside. Unfortunately, we do have parents that aren't. I won't say they're not equipped, they're not confident in teaching their kids and knowing what to do. I wish that we would have more specializations in those areas, because even before the COVID thing, it felt like we just still didn't have enough. It's still not where it needs to be. They're kind of just left by the wayside, but then they still matter when it comes to testing. Now, all of a sudden, we have to scramble together to try to get them caught up.
But I think that's what I said. I think it's going to force something that we had to happen anyway. Social work is going to have to be more equipped now because, you think of half the kids in the inner city that don't have any problems, just mom and dad ain't there. They don't have internet. They don't have whatever. So now social workers, that's just another layer of education you got to have. You got to have a teacher be able to come to the house and check out other stuff. You're going to have a full IT department in your school now, because at least, I'm going to say my school, but at least in some schools, most of the IT department don't know how to fix jams in the printer.
Right.
But now you're going to have a real IT professional there to work out those type of things. You're going to have a counselor that's going to be able to go to the kid's house, or a special education teacher that's going to have to go home to that, So, it's got to happen.
And these trainings can't come at the end of the semester.
Right.
The trainings need to come at the beginning, and
I
think some of it is that you don't have enough people to do it. I know it's specific to our district. We have because of the situation. We have people who go to the training and then they bring it back to campus, but is so understaffed and all that it just come a little bit late, and then it feels like another something on top of everything else that we have to do. So
and that's exactly why you go back.
But like I said, I think that now there's no way around it now. We got over for all these years, and even now the pandemic, people still like I can forget your name. I'm sorry. What was it? Ivory, like Miss Ivory said before, we got people now thinking that we're going to go back to normal. So we still haven't really completely invested in the idea that this blended learning is here to stay. And I think, in a while, it's going to force us to believe it. Because even when it's back to normal, quote unquote, I think some of the blended learning is just going to be here to stay.
Yeah. I was actually for it, though, but only with the notion that we would have one-to-one technology. When the kids are in the classroom, I still go get computers, and I'm like, we're doing the same thing that the kids are doing online. I'm not doing 2 different lessons or anything like that. I'm just providing that extra support if you get stuck. So when it does get back to the kids are in the classroom full time, hopefully we stay one-to-one, and we will still do that technology piece, because when they get to college, you know, everything, a lot of stuff is going to be online. It's like when my mom, we talked about, okay, they go through all this school, they go to college, just go sit at a desk and be behind a computer for a job. So why not learn how to do the technology stuff now, so it won't feel like such a new thing. So
but that's education. I don't know. I'm stopping the conversation.
That sounds good.
That just bothers me, because that's how I feel about the state test. You know, if you think about it, especially elementary level, what do? We do all this interactive learning. We jump and we sing and we play and we do all this stuff. And then the STAR test come around, you sit still for 4 hours.
Right.
And look at the computer screen. That's completely opposite of what we do. So, I don't know. But that's what I was saying with the college thing. Is like, we want to prepare for college, but we completely opposite of what they're going to do in college. You know?
Right. That's true. So, school. That's all right. So, I know we're not just educators. What else do we do outside of education, briefly?
Nothing.
Being in a very short
I read books about education.
Yeah, I know my husband is the Mr. PhD right now, so that's what I'm doing outside of it. I do a couple of
who's that? Not meet this dude?
No, you met the dude, but you know.
I've been throwing pause at 7 years old.
Oh Lord. But what do y'all do? What other edupreneur, teacherpreneur, or just entrepreneurial type of things do y'all do? Or anything?
I would say I enjoy arts and craft and reading. Anything that gives me a little calm, stress-free, peaceful time. I devote a lot of time to planning. There's more planning and work with this new COVID learning than it was before. Mm-hmm. So anything I can do to just relax and find my peace, that's what I do. Yeah. And I coach volleyball.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, sports.
I couldn't do it.
Can't? Or you won't?
I won't. I refuse. I tried. I failed. It's done.
You got more degrees than you can do anything.
Speaking of coaching, I am a certified clinical sexologist.
Oh,
I
really?
have a
Be specific
coaching
of
business.
what that is.
Huh?
Can you be more specific
Yeah.
of what that is?
So I am a relationship and sex coach. So I help couples work through intimacy issues, infidelity issues, when they want to enter into polyamorous relationships, all kinds of things. It's a broad scope. We're going to keep this PG, right? Mm-hmm. So
we come back to the other show.
But here's where my other passion comes in, though. I do teen seminars for sex education. So I work with children from 12 to 21, just showing them how to do healthy relationships, showing them how to protect themselves, showing them, okay, if you decide to go down this path, this is what it should feel like and look like, and be safe. Okay. Again, keeping the PG.
I'm trying to figure out when we did that questionnaire back in school, why that job wasn't on the questionnaire. They were talking about
that right there.
Yeah, they talking about I want to be a carpenter or something. I'm like, what carpenter? No.
I mean, so part of me being an LMFT would be the sex therapy part.
Right.
So,
that'd be a good area. You say you middle school? Mm-hmm. Middle school, yeah. So that's needed.
Absolutely. We can't no longer teach abstinence. I mean, yeah, that's great, but who's doing that?
Yeah, I remember when I was in 6th grade, we had a girl who was pregnant twice before we got out of school. I was like, what? In the 6th grade.
Y'all make
I'll be down on my child.
When I was teaching, do you remember when I was teaching 4th grade, the 2 girls that were functioning in the restaurant?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
So,
and then when I was And when I first got into middle school, we had the 2 boys.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's all kinds of stuff going on.
All right, so
I'll give you this to the 180. This is the teacher's edition.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about the disadvantages, advantages, things that are going on within the school district between teachers. So I also want to throw this in the mix along with Dr. B's question. So, you know, it's a whole lot of, and it's hard for me to say because I'm a parent. I don't think I'm justified to say this. However, I believe I've heard some parents say the communication between the teachers during the pandemic is so not justified. Like, it's so slow. Like, there's no communication, period. You want me to help this individual learn or help my child learn, but I didn't go to school for this. This is what you went to school for. So it's kind of like, so my question is, how does a parent help the teacher, coach, in this situation that we're in now? Because we can sit back and complain, but so my thing is tell them how they can help, because they may not know.
What?
Communicate.
I'm letting somebody
Just,
I was about to jump in for real.
From a parent perspective, just communicate.
Right.
From a teacher perspective or a coach perspective, it's a balance for us because we have, I don't know how many students you have, and then if you over communicate, people start ignore everything you do. If you under communicate, then it's too little. So it's harder for us to figure out the balance, especially with the new way of learning things, that they slip on the crack. And then sometimes we can't communicate stuff like we want to until we figure out if it's approved or if it's changed or if it whatever else. So as a parent, I think the only way you can help us is just communicate, like plainly, just like, I don't understand why my kid hadn't got this work, and then patience, because, we're stressed just like you are, because most of us have our own kids and all the other stuff to deal with. So patience and then just communication, that's really all you can help.
And to add to that, I would say I think a lot of parents are so quick to go to the head, the administration, principals. Come straight to that teacher and let's just talk and have that dialogue and see how we can better help and serve. Communicate.
Because I feel like the kids even communicate more than the parents sometimes. I know I get my kids emailing me all the time, hey, miss, how can I get this grade up? Or what did I need to do? Or can we get... I even tell the kids, let's get on a Google Meet one-on-one and we can talk about it. They're having issues. And that's kind of sad that the kids are communicating more than the parents sometimes. But then when you have the parents who you've tried to call 15 times a week, and then they don't want to say anything until the grade is low. Well, why is my child failing? Well, I mean, I've tried to call you. I've tried to communicate with you. I've tried to let you know, what's going on. I'm trying to render aid to you. And then I have some parents who are just wholly understanding and just like, I let them know, look, I have my children at home. My kids are at home doing virtual school as well. So I try to be sensitive to that. I try to see it from both perspectives.
Yeah, and so like again, on the other side of the perspective, I have at least 6 of my friends that are parents, and they're all different, but they all say the same thing, which really pisses me off. They're like, well, the teacher didn't tell me this, and the teacher didn't tell me that, but I'm like, did you ask?
Yep.
Did you ask? And they're like, kid, you don't like that. No, really. Did you ask? They have 180 kids or however many kids they have, and your child is not the only one. You birthed this kid. You ask about their education.
So what you saying? Let me ask you: do y'all sometimes feel like some underpaid babysitters?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
Why?
I don't get a call sometime until somebody stepped on my child's Jordans. But man, didn't I just call you? I'm glad you called because three days ago I just called you to talk to him about why he didn't do his assignment. So he probably got his shoes stepped on because he got upset with me because I was trying to talk to him about his grades. And he was mad.
And I get to say, my son ain't playing. I said, your son ain't made a grade check in 3 years. As a football coach, I'm putting in the kid who's going to be there in the playoffs. No, I'm just saying, from a coach perspective,
that's funny.
I get that. I've literally got, my son ain't playing. I say because I'm not going to have him past week 3. And I had to tell them that, and then they mad at me about it, and I'm like, that's the same kid that I've been bugging you, for 2 years. Get on your grades, get on your grades, get on your grades.
Yeah.
And like you said, some parents put together the value of the Jordans and all the other stuff, but then the important stuff, we have been communicating with you. But like I said, I think the easiest thing is just communicate, just plain and simple communication, without the attitude, without the preceding notion, all that. Just say, hey, my kid said he ain't got this word. Sometimes your kid might be lying too,
Right.
you know. And
I love when kids say, "I'm gonna tell my mama." Please do, because I tried to call her yesterday. Make mad just so you can go tell your mama.
What about these? Okay, so I'm being honest with y'all. Like the generation we have now, a lot of these parents were young, having these kids, and now it's like they treat their kid like their best friend. How do y'all handle that?
I can be the child's kind of friend. I can act like their friend in order to have that communication, in order to, really tap into what's going on so that I can know how to approach your parent. Because some kids are treated that way, and when they get home, it's either they have a bunch of attention on them, they have all these responsibilities because mama not really doing what she's supposed to be doing, or you have some, that's taking care of themselves, or you have some, you got all kind of spectrums.
I'm still clubbing.
Yeah, so,
some kids can't help, bro. Like, that's the hardest thing for a teacher, for an educator or coach or anything to understand is that some kids, you just gonna lose, and you can do all you can, but like I said, if their home ain't right and they don't want to be right, then you gonna lose some of them.
So you said something, so the home needs to be right in order for it to be right to school?
Well, it doesn't have to be right, but I'm saying if the home's not right and the kid's not trying to escape what's wrong, then you really don't have a leg to stand on, And so if the kid think it's cool and the parent think it's cool, then what am I going to do in 6 hours a day that's going to change what you've been doing the rest of the day?
And I think every child has a sweet spot for a teacher, right? So I would have kids that Bree couldn't handle, but she would send one to me and they would act just perfectly with me and vice versa. So I think that you have to be what that child needs for you at that point. Some I was mama, some I was friend, some I was sister, homegirl, whatever I needed to be to get you to realize that there was a structure here and you can learn here and you were in a safe space.
So it's safe to say kids really like structure.
Absolutely. Mama got me in trouble though. I had one foster parent. She was like, he putting your last name on his paper. You could come get all his stuff and take him on with you. So I stopped the mama stuff. Don't call me mama no more. Right.
Wow.
I had an interesting story, kind of going back to what she said. There's a coach buddy of mine, and older guy, shaved his head, shaved his eyebrows, and his beard. And I was always like, why you shaving your stuff, man? Trying to be young or something? He was like, nah, he's from Cali. And he said, Coach, a lot of coaches want to be father figures to their kids. He said, I can't be a father figure in my community because these kids despise their fathers. So I have to try to be a big brother or a cool uncle or, whatever. So he said I had to change my appearance because that's the only way I connect to the board. And it just blew my mind because as a coach, you always hear father figure.
Right.
And, it was just kind of what she said. You got to be who they need at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. You have to meet them where they are. And a lot of times, when you're having trouble with a kid in the classroom, if you call the parent and you can't get in touch with, when you get in touch and you talk to them, you're going to be like, oh, okay. I see what I'm dealing with. It is what it is.
And I've had a situation where I was about to fight the mama over the kid.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you're not going to sit up here.
Wow.
You're not going to sit up here and do my baby like this.
You remember mine?
Man.
You remember the one?
Oh, you're ready.
I had to walk away because the Fort Lauderdale Florida was going to come out at me. And she was going to be laid on the ground.
Like, and it's just crazy. Like, I need to tell you. That's a new thing.
I had this cat, man. He dropped. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm in the drop off line. The kid, he fussing at the kid. Man, get out of the car, man. You always sleep. Da, 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 da. Open the door and the smoke came out like it was Snoop, Cheech and Chong, and all the prolific weed smokers that you could ever imagine. And I said, I looked at it, and I didn't mean to do it on purpose. I said, man, that baby ain't sleepy, he high. and the dude looked at me, he got an attitude. I said, man, can you just can you wait 30 more minutes before you bake so this baby can get here to school and be all right? And it's just funny because you get them parents, man, you go, okay, now I understand why this kid's, so I got to get the baby some snacks before the class starts. He
got the munchies.
Yeah, he got the munchies.
A lot of times the kids, when they had that situation at home, they look to y'all as parents to teach them, guide them, and things like that.
That could be nervous.
Yeah.
So what he just said, my next question is, are there some teachers, in your opinion, who take being an educator unserious?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're just there collecting.
Sometimes.
If you got a degree and you can't get a job, then you get in this teacher program. There you go. Now you got at least $45K.
Right. I stood up in a staff meeting, and basically told a teacher that if you don't like the profession, then leave. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and hear you just bash everything. It ain't all peaches and cream and all the other stuff. There's a lot of good things about being in education. And if you get in here every day, have something to complain about, and you just hate it, bye, we don't need you. And then you wonder why the kids don't like you and don't want to do your work and don't want to come to your class. And the teachers don't want to talk to you.
Right. And I was that teacher.
Tools that become teachers. Oh my God. Those are the ones. In the name.
Jesus in the name of y'all.
I was going to say sometimes I would have to tell the students coming from another class, I don't know what just happened or what went down, but this is a new class, a new attitude. Leave that behind, because you will have a teacher who's totally not there for that child and will take everything away from them. And it's hard for the next teacher who sees something in them and who's trying with them. So, yes, there are teachers out there who is just a job. And then there's some who are purposeful in what they're doing.
Because you're not allowed to have a bad day as a teacher. Like, you got to be able to shake it off, pretend, you know. So if it's not in you, then you can't. It's some terrible teachers out there. Teachers. There's some terrible teachers that are retirement age, been doing 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Waiting.
Oh, wait. Do you remember that one that was a millionaire? And why was she working? She was third grade.
Oh, yeah.
Florida.
She just came to be racist.
She didn't care nothing about them kids.
So, let's see. So, if you had, let's just say, you had to give a young teacher some advice on how to deal with these, things that are going on, the changes that are going on in our education, and to make sure that you're educating the student. Because I get what y'all saying. It can be rough. I was a student, so I can say I gave some teachers hell, Miss Ray. That was first grade though, but that wasn't my fault. I just got doing my work for everybody else. Anyway,
so you was GT.
I hear my mother now.
Yeah, I was ET too
much. But if you if you had this one moment to give to a teacher that's coming out who doesn't really know what they're about to face, because we're in this situation now, what is the top 2 things you'll tell them to prepare themselves for?
Marriage is not for the faint of the heart, and neither is teaching. So, if you're not passionate about these kids, if you don't want to instill into these kids, you're not trying to educate and uplift and empower these kids, stay your ass at McDonald's, Taco Bell, Home Point Financial, whatever, somewhere else. Don't go to these ISDs. Don't do it. Don't do it.
In the name
of Jesus.
Lord,
I would say be patient, be humble. If you made it that far into education, stick with it. And if it's not for you, see what other avenue you can go into.
I say run. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm joking. Just know that you're not gonna get rich in education.
Right.
Don't do it for the money because it's not gonna come. You'll be highly disappointed. Do it definitely for the passion. Do it for the next generation. And you just have to fall in love with it in some kind of way. Don't stress yourself out. Don't feel like you have to save the world because you won't.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything they said. Be patient. Understand that you may have to lose one. Or it's not going to be able to help everybody. And then all stuff they said. And then one thing I tell people now is you got to learn how to shut it off at some time. Don't take your work home. I know you got to do lesson plans and stuff like that, but give yourself a limit and stick to it. And be able to shut it off because it never stops. And if you don't do that, you're going to stress yourself out and take love away from you. That's really all you got when you're teaching is a love and passion.
Yes.
I just want to ask one question about what advice do you have for the parents who are going through all of this with, especially if they're working right now, some are in school themselves, having a lot of hardships. What advice do you give them, about their kids?
Be patient. That's when I think patience is crucial because you're hard on yourself as a parent already. Well, if you're a good parent anyway, you're hard on yourself. So be patient with those educators, ask questions, do what you can. There's all kinds of tools and resources to help your child at home. And if you can't find any, ask that educator because I promise you they'll know. And they might not get to you right away, but they will get to you.
I would say keep fighting through it. Better is coming. Mm-hmm. This is education. Stay patient. Coach?
Just adjust. I mean, that's the number one lesson that we need to learn that every person on this earth has to deal with is adjust. So, make sure you all the things you just said, you'll be patient and all that stuff, but just know this adjustment and teach your kid that we're adjusting, and this is a valuable lesson. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, we have a comment from Yada, all the way from KC.
I'll count on
So,
Yada.
real quick before we wrap up, she said, how do you handle a smart child with tremendous attention, tremendous attention and no support? How do you encourage and push that child to their potential? Oh, and shout out to DJ Legend. Appreciate it. So yes, that's the question. How do you handle a smart child with tremendous attention and no support?
There's so many resources. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's so many resources for gifted and talented children that even if you don't think that your child is gifted and talented, challenge them with those things that you find for gifted and talented kids.
And like you say, communicate with the teacher because, I do have a few that are getting hundreds across the board and I'm just like, ooh, baby, I got to find something else to do, because I'm not an academy teacher, so I do have to take an extra step outside my paid time hours. Right. But I do go and try to find those resources for those kids,
Project-based learning is great.
You got so much stuff out there. Even, you can go to museum and find lesson plans and stuff that you can do at home with your kid. Even if they watch a movie, have them write an essay about it. There's so many things you can do, but definitely reach out to the teachers.
You say as a parent or as a teacher? As a parent? Yeah. I was going to say, like peer teaching, have them help teach other people that keep them engaged.
Yeah.
But use that tool because a kid learning from a kid is way easier than us teaching the kid. Kids learn from kids.
Speak their language.
So use them best you can, and they keep them engaged and to help others.
Cool beans. Well, look, man, I appreciate you 100. I know this could have been not hard for Florida. So she was teaching nobody. Let's get it correct.
She went in
off since March. In the words
she
of
not a school district.
Govern yourself accordingly. But no, I really appreciate your insight. Some may have not want to do this because of, let's just say, job reasons. However, I think it was necessary because a whole lot of parents are having questions, but they're doing more complaining than having questions.
Right.
Or you want your kid to do this, not do that, but you're not having the communication. So this is why I thought the show would be so important to have. And I appreciate our own Dr. B for helping us put this together. Magnificent, magnificent. Thank you, ma'am, as usual. So we got this thing where we call the last word. Okay? So as we go out, whatever you have to say, your last word, your floor. And we'll start with Ms. Ivy.
I will say continue to shine bright and do all that you can do right now, because there's greater later.
Queens. All the way from Florida. Miss, I don't work till March.
305.
Honestly, I would just say always be encouraging to other people, because you have no idea what they may be going through. Kid, teenager, adult, whatever the case may be. So.
Coach Miller?
I'm going to plug the Noble Gent. No, but for real, I am going to plug the Noble G. The Noble G Instagram, basically, it's a place where we celebrate, engage, and inspire the gentleman, or anybody that aspires to be a gentleman, or anybody that loves a gentleman, or whatever. So it's a good thing to do, good place to be. But outside of that, just keep being patient, keep communicating. You know, we're in this thing together. Yeah. We love your kids just as much as you love your kids, and let's keep talking.
I'll take you up on that. We got a show coming about bro code, so I'll be calling you later. Go ahead, Dr. B.
I want to definitely thank my people who came out to do this segment. Shout out to my kids. We back on at home. With my personal kids too, you know, I lay out, but also my kids that I teach and I engage every day. All my teachers' friends, I'm checking on y'all. I hope y'all are okay. But to the parents, shout out to y'all. I would just say, please just communicate with your teachers and realize that we're, you know, in this with you. We are partners. We are not taking over. We are partners, and thank you for allowing us to be in your children's lives. Yeah.
Not last, never not least, my own brother, DJ Legend. Caesar.
I want to thank y'all for coming out. I really learned a lot. Shout out to my sister Kanita Carey. She's a teacher also in Cedar Hill. Shout out to my kids. Shout out to everyone that was listening. I really thank y'all again. There's one more thing. Keep God first and good night.
As y'all see, he is the Russell Simmons of group. So, look, man, I totally appreciate y'all. I know the teacher job can be definitely difficult. I was engaged to her for 2 years. She's a great teacher. All our friends, Candace, Jeff, Leah, Coach, Mr. Patton, all them at the school. So I got a first hand to see some of the things that y'all go through. It can be rough being on this side when you're not on your side. So, you know, my thing is I want to be able to close the bond, connect the gap. Let's work together to make sure we continue educating our kids, move them forward. You know, we are the only one. Knowledge, as they say, is cliche, but it is power. So, you know, my grandfather always said, when you get in your head, can no one take it from you. So for me, from all the parents, for those who don't do what y'all do, we truly, truly thank you, appreciate you, applaud you, because it ain't easy. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Look, man, we up out of here. You know how we get down. Monday, we'll be back right here on the full 180 Convo. The whole cast will be in the building. We got a topic for you. We need you to tune in. Please subscribe. Please follow all these teachers on their Instagram. My girl with her store. I'm going to have you back because we're going to have a whole conversation about this sexologist. Yes! You know, because some of y'all ain't doing it right. So, but you know what I ain't never understood? Why people that want to teach it ain't having it or ain't even in a relationship. But that's a conversation, a whole nother point in time. But one day, we're going to get into it with the full cast, man. Just so we'll let you know, I'll give you a little teaser. You got a friend? Is he a benefit? We're going to find out. You know, I live by two mantras. One, faith to freaking not dwell in the same place. And as long as you're on this side until you see your Heavenly Father, always love, live, laugh. Until next time, we out of here. Full 180 Convo. More music, more radio. Let's go, Caesar.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yo, I cannot understand why the parents and the teachers and everybody trying to beat to the kids, the young generation. Yo, what's the deal, Charlie?
Well,
what's
man,
the deal, Charlie?
I don't know what the deal is. You have to ask my partner, Dingo Dick.
Yo, tell us, D. Tell us, D.
Fusion, G.
Oh, word, what's up? Hey, oh, man, it's just another case of that OPTA. Oh, man.
The school I wrote notes and took quotes from Shakespeare and other types of rhymes to show you that I care. But things like together forever to you're my only one.
Only one.
Special, I could say it was a lovely one. You would say someone's knocking on my window.
Knock, knock.
Someone's ringing my bell.
Ding dong.
It's about 2 in the morning.
Hey, yo, D, what the hell's going on? It's just another case of that OPTA.
But nevertheless, it goes to show my potential. And even though I love was 3-dimensional, 1,
B,
2,
U,
3, your pops. Now what am I to do? I had transformed into an educated lad, going around doing chores for your dad, playing a duck, wearing sweaters and shoes, dealing with pockets, listen to the blues, and talk to your mom about a love for a daughter, suggesting to me that I just oughta watch myself
inch by inch,
watch myself
and do some sense.
So I did, and didn't do a damn thing. They took a blame for now I sing.
It's just another case of that OPTA. I must have robbed the mighty infamous, always misbehaving and mischievous. Calling aggravation, I'll never pause. Pushing on spitballs with plastic straws in class, until I got caught at last, flagging up the courtyard glass. Hey, teacher, go to the flex, bounce around like intercom blast. Hey yo, in class, kicked it to this girl Cheryl. Word, the teacher tried to throw me a pharaoh. No, I'm not with attention, no, on with suspicion. Her child's wicked around, they carry those styles. Teacher just announced to go talk to my mommy. Know when she gets home, she's gonna wail the body. I hate this relationship, the mom and teacher. Richard reaches for me, yo, she knows how to reach ya. Okay, up to date, I am the new school play between my mom, a teacher, and my dad. Hey yo, it's just another case of that OPTA.
Yo, teachers hate me, the girls don't take me because I'm Pete Brown.
Class clown,
getting stuff. Sometimes I juke, you're depending on the day and how I'm there. Sometimes I leave and I fall at rotten and brown. Nowhere to be found. The tax on seats, 5 days a week. Right in that lunch, I gotta get some sleep, but I didn't do it.
You did it.
I'm spending.
You was with it.
And now it's time to pay for the club, and I never got caught like Judge Wapner.
Bam, take him to court.
A room of teachers, parents and preachers, a principal and 1 kid dressed in sneakers. Case of violence divorce.
Order.
Yo, 12 verse 1 is a sorta. I pleaded a case, face to face. It was always good, everyone was in late. Yo, pronounce me guilty. You have 364 days of detention to serve.
Some nerve.
I feel this could be from piss. The head of the board say Case Smith. As I walk out the room, I heard them say,